In the world of achievements, it's hard to find a challenge more infamous than mine, Leben.
I guess not! I guess not! I'm gonna be so disappointed if I lose.
Oh my god, dude.
But what is Mine Leben? Well, Mine Leben is one of the hardest, most obscenely demanding difficulties ever put in a video game, pitting you against enemies that deal insane amounts of damage, a gameplay system where you have to pick up med kits to get your health back, and if you're on console like me, your aim, since you have to do this on controller. Ooh, what? Okay. But the thing that really puts this over the edge is that in a game with an average completion time of about 10 to 12 hours, you'll also have to beat it completely deathless. This becomes a monumental task, an emphasis on the mental part, considering one wrong move is the difference between life and death. And let's not forget the fact that you have to do this in one continuous sitting, as save points in this mode apparently took inspiration from my sanity and are currently nowhere to be seen. But because of the prestige this achievement carries, I wanted to try this out for myself, proving that even an idiot like me might be able to pull it off somehow. But with that being said, I might be getting a little ahead of myself already, because if I know anything about this game, it's that you always have to be prepared for the craziest thing to happen.
I need you to make it to the outside of the
I forgot about the...
Look for an opening that will grant you passage.
Oh, that was scary. Before we could even attempt Mine Leben, however, first I had to go through the Snamwiches patented Mine Leben training boot camp. As some of you may know, I usually like to go into most of the challenges I do on this channel with zero experience and play based on doing what sounds fun, vibes, and whimsy. A strategy that I can confidently say over the years has worked out well for me 0 times. However, considering this achievement's reputation and the fact that I didn't want to spend months on a permadeath run again, I decided to actually practice for this, because who knows, maybe I could be the Batman with prep time of video games if I put my mind to it. Oh wait, do I have to choose again? Okay, hold on. Kill Wyatt? Save Fergus? What's wrong with Wyatt? What did he do? So I decided to do my first full playthrough of the game on I Am Death Incarnate, a difficulty that's basically Mine Leben without the whole permadeath part. But although dying here wouldn't cause a large brain aneurysm like it would on Mine Leben, the micro aneurysms do start to add up, and the conversion rate from micro to large is a lot lower than you might think. This may genuinely be the stupidest section so far. Unironically. Oh, and I get fucking knocked down by that dog! He's not a... Ah! Dude, what? Big mugga and... Okay, yeah, didn't want my health anyway. If I just did this, thoughts. Okay, not doing that again. Any parts you're worried about for the Mine Leben playthrough after playing this one? Yeah. Every single one, to be completely honest. Overall, I died 136 times, which in case you were keeping track, is 136 times more than I'm allowed to in Mine Leben. But despite that not being optimal or whatever, I was able to gain an understanding of how the game works now. I learned how enemies behaved in different scenarios, when to play safe versus being aggressive, how to throw a grenade back properly. Here you go. Uh-oh. Here you go. Uh-oh. Here you go. Uh-oh. And by far, the most important thing I learned is when to censor the hell out of this game. Because fellas, I'll be honest, I truly miss the innocence I had before witnessing some of these events. I'm not getting demonetized today, thank you. But just playing through the game once wasn't all I did to prepare. Whenever I got to a spot I thought was tricky, I would make a manual save right before it, throwing myself at the metaphorical meat grinder until I was able to find something that worked consistently, which at times caused the same amount of pain as if I were to put my actual meats into a grinder. I would also receive nightly lessons from the greatest Wolfenstein 2 philosophers of our time, the most influential of which being Platfall, whose teachings on playing carefully and the anti-intellectual of the faster class really spoke to me as a massive coward. This would become my Bible, audiobook version, and all of these things I mentioned would come together to create an intense training schedule. 3 hours a day of pure, uninterrupted Wolfenstein study. That would last For about a week-ish. I kind of got bored after that, but that's fine, because that just meant we could get to mine Leben faster. In fact, I'm so confident now that I can guarantee you that I can beat mine Leben on my first try. And I'm going to be very annoying about it. The intense, heart-pounding gameplay you've all come here for. The achievement to end all achievements. And that all starts right after this cutscene. I love cutscenes, woo! Cutscenes. So for those that haven't played Wolfenstein 2 before, let me explain. The beginning of the game has you playing as BJ Blazkowicz, a man with the most unfortunate name ever, considering he's now in the script of a YouTuber with the humor of a 12-year-old, and whose familial past is, let's just say, not the best. Currently, BJ is being nursed back to health in a stolen Nazi submarine after the events of the last game, the ending of which really put the blast back in Blazkowicz, to put it lightly. So during this time, we're stuck in a coma and have to watch some flashbacks of BJ's childhood, which is exactly when his father enters the picture and decides to do a become the most unlikable character of all time any percent speedrun. Wait, do we? Oh, I forgot about this part.
Shoot her.
I'm good. Hold on, I can aim away from the dog. Okay, you can okay, well, okay. So good news, you can miss. Bad news, your dad goes in for the lob and he hits the sickest dunk on the dog. This whole ordeal lasts about 10 minutes. And the reason I even mention it is that along with it being miserable to censor, it's also completely unskippable, which means that every time I die in a mine Leben run, I will have to sit through this entire cutscene all over again. And once that 10 minutes is finally over, you have the honor of playing the entire first mission in a wheelchair. Oh no. Oh no. Fuck, my one weakness. Please. It turns out that the explosion that hit BJ did a lot more to him than we could have possibly imagined. And I'm not even just talking about the legs anymore. He kind of starts whispering to himself now, and this side effect lasts literally the whole game.
Death at the gates again. Howling my name.
And now we get to listen to BJ ASMR again, but not that kind of BJ ASMR, like the BJ in the game. But the reason we've been woken up is due to the Germans having found and boarded our stolen submarine. So our objective in mission 1 is to wheel our way through the decks, killing every soldier in sight as we slowly make our escape. Considering that movement isn't exactly our strong suit right now, the strong suit is actually acquired later in the game. The initial level requires us to take advantage of some of the more strategic mechanics in BJ's arsenal. Notably, the lean function. This allows BJ to be as unrevealing as possible to the people shooting their shot at him, which kind of makes it sound like the Amish dating scene, except way more homoerotic. And generally, this is the most important thing to keep note of throughout the entire game. If a plan goes bad in later sections, which it probably will, finding a piece of cover and holding out is usually the best backup plan in almost every situation, and mastering the timing and positioning of your leans will make a massive difference in your ability to survive. But let's say, for example, you've messed up in some way and have nowhere to lean, such as on this giant sushi conveyor belt halfway through the level. What exactly do you do then? Well, the answer to that is actually far simpler than you might think. You die. Uh-oh. Well, damn, I unloaded on that guy and it did not work. That's crazy. That's okay. We can just say it was a practice one and that I'm still on my first try. The fortunate thing about being turned into sashimi here is that even after sitting through the 10-minute cutscene gulag again, I didn't have to wheel too far to get back to where I was. Mission 1 is actually one of the shortest levels in the game, and we love a short king around here. You start off by killing a few soldiers, turning on a few traps, disintegrating a few Nazis, turning off the traps, this is very important, and making your way to the upper floors. Thankfully, as we all know, the Germans in the 1940s were famous for being incredibly accepting and accommodating to people. So they left behind this handicap-accessible elevator for us to ride to continue on to the hardest part of the mission. This would be the large room about halfway through the level. The enemies here are all in different positions and elevations, so if you fail to carefully clear a slice of the room before peeking further, to put it in cheese terms, you will turn from an American into the Swiss. But by being meticulous and counting to 5, which finally allowed me to get some use out of that STEM degree I have, we can ride our German Miller chair all the way to the exit, where you get captured captured are brought in front of the Nazi commander, Frau Engel, and are rewarded with yet another unskippable cutscene. That's also 10 minutes long. Scotland, where are you? I need you to accept the bet so I feel less bad. No one saw that. Just a flesh wound, she could come back from this? I mean... You know what? Actually, I think we're gonna have to pass on that plan. We were now at a point in Wolfenstein 2 where we had watched double the amount of cutscenes than had actual gameplay. Perhaps triple if we count the practice run. But this is where that all changes. Mission 2 is where you pull out the classic Uno reverse card technique and disable a German airship while you get the use of your legs back. All thanks to a super suit that the previous occupant probably won't be needing anymore. This is also the level where you're introduced to the option of stealth. Stealth usually becomes the default playstyle for any Mein Leben run, since A, getting shot at less is surprisingly effective for the whole not dying thing, and B, throughout the game there will be special commander enemies who can summon reinforcements if they become aware of you. That's why it becomes critical to take them out as quickly as possible whenever they're in the area, which can be done through the use of silenced weapons, throwing hatchets, and hatchets, all with their own unique pros and cons when it comes to playing stealthily. Like, for example, the dual silenced pistols, which are great at taking out enemies at range, are super accurate, and deal heavy damage, whereas in terms of negatives, they're bad at nothing, which is why I end up using them for most of the game. These can't be unlocked until I get some weapon upgrades though, so in the meantime, the trickier parts of this level have to be done with inferior equipment. There's a section on the outer walkways where you have to get past patrols and hatchet commanders at the proper time, a place where waves of enemies push you before you shine a laser in their eye and skull and brain and various other organs. And then there's the tanker part. I found this to be the hardest part of the mission to beat normally, thanks to the initial enemies being really good at hide and seek and a guest appearance by one of the soldiers from Call of Duty World at War. Funnel them into that. Wow, what a fucking grenade, by the way. However, you can actually skip the tanker entirely by using a glitch. How it works is by mantling a box in the correct position, you can phase through the ceiling and run past a door that's supposed to open later. And this is why we practice, because through those grueling hours I put into perfecting this level, I learned I could not do this trick to save my life. So we just did it normally, killing all the enemies from this hallway and escaped back into the submarine with our now deceased friend to end the level. Mission 3 takes place within the submarine again, as we find out that the Germans we stole it from are still actually on board in a sealed off area where they were broadcasting both our coordinates back to their superiors, as well as a suspiciously highly rated DIY submarine repair livestream, which, judging by the quality of my journey through here, do you think we could get like a repairman to come down here in the next day or two? Ooh. Maybe multiple repairmen to come down here in the next day or two. Makes me think that all those 5-star reviews are... Oh, my apologies. It actually says DIE submarine repair, which to their credit seems a lot more accurate. The worst part comes at the end where there's a ton of enemies, but by climbing on top of this roof and leaning around these pipes, you can headshot everyone with almost no danger. However, this mission is important in the grand scheme of things, because the little intermission after allows you to pick up your first 2 weapon upgrades, which I use to silence and upgrade my pistols, and it also gives you your chosen power weapon. During the initial cutscene, you'll have the choice to save one of your 2 companions, and this choice determines which unique weapon you'll have for the rest of the game. It happens to be a pretty tough decision too. On one hand, you can get the laser craftwork, an easy to aim electric cannon that can destroy even the strongest enemies in 2 charged shots. Whereas on the other hand, you can get the diesel craftwork, a weapon that fucking sucks. So after much internal debate, I got the laser, and after clearing out the submarine, reached Manhattan. Uh-oh. And this is where the game starts to get a bit insane. This is not going to be good. That's okay. This was practice. This is still my first try. So while I sat through another round of cutscenes, I thought I'd pass the time with a movie that was about the same length. Unfortunately, however, the 3-hour epic Oppenheimer wasn't available in my country due to licensing. But thankfully, that wouldn't end up mattering. And that's thanks to today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Do you want to keep your browser history hidden from your nosy ISP, or encrypt your data to keep it safe on public Wi-Fi? Or live action roleplay as a British person by accessing their Netflix and binging everything on the BBC? No to the last one? Yeah, me neither. Then ExpressVPN is exactly the service for you. ExpressVPN is a virtual private network that employs best-in-class encryption to protect your info and data, routing all your traffic through secure servers so that your ISP can't collect and sell your search history, which for some reason is actually legal in the US. But that's not the only thing ExpressVPN does. It also allows you to change your online location to one of over 100 countries, which has allowed me to get better deals on items thanks to regional pricing and access a ton of content on streaming services that wasn't available in the US, like The Whale, which I've now found out is about a dude and not an actual whale because I've now seen the movie. Along with it being consistently fast, I've also been able to connect up to 14 devices at once. So if you want to secure your data and get all the benefits of a great VPN for as low as $3.49 a month, which is just 12 cents a day, find out how you can get up to 4 extra months by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description, or going to expressvpn.com/snam today. Thank you again to ExpressVPN for sponsoring my masochism, and with that finished up, I think it's time to head back into Wolfenstein 2. The goal in Manhattan is to reach some resistance fighters hiding away in a skyscraper, but getting to said fighters includes some of the toughest parts of the game we've seen thus far. You start off in this building swarmed with Germans wearing some pretty rad suits, but the problem with this encounter is the area layout. It becomes almost a necessity to get through the building quietly, since there are flanks everywhere, and if reinforcements are called, you will get shot in the back and die 90% of the time. But there is a way to make things easier for yourself. There's a trick here where if you can successfully take out or sneak past the commander, you can reach a balcony, on which you can run and jump to the opposite side of the building to not only skip past the enemies inside of it, but also cause the enemies in the following area to avoid coming out entirely. And I totally get it from their perspective. I'm pretty sure the last time something as big as BJ came hurtling towards the ground, the dinosaurs went extinct. And it's not even the only time he goes flying here. Everyone, put your hands up and say "we," okay? 3, 2, 1. Whee! The rest of Lower Manhattan is pretty straightforward after that. Sneak by some enemies, destroy a giant robot from the safety of this building, which is a lot easier said than done. Okay. Oh, you're not dead. Oh, well, I'm out. Not gonna lie, he fooled me. And start to understand the reason why this level's not called Womanhattan, because good lord, there are a lot of dudes here. On the approach to the skyscraper, people are already going to be alerted to your presence, so you can run forward and likely get shot in the back, or wait 2 minutes in the same corner like me so that you can move forward when the coast is clear and still get shot in the back. What the fuck? There was a guy behind me. I knew it. I had a feeling. But making it past here, ideally with as much health and armor as you can, leads you to the penthouse. The first big obstacle in Mein Leben that's ironically due to it being small. You're basically confined to an enclosed space as enemies flood in from every direction. Thankfully, you can take advantage of some options, like the guy who bought this $1 million penthouse through day trading and then sold it a day later, also due to day trading. One of which requires no effort on your part at all. In the corner of the entrance, there is a trash can, and if you position yourself correctly, you can stay completely out of sight of the enemies as the resistance fighters clean house. However, I didn't realize during practice that this method is pretty inconsistent. And Mein Leben is the perfect place for a trash can to become a trash can't. What? Yeah. This is a practice attempt, by the way. 20 minutes of cutscenes and some more BJSMR later, and we did make it back. This time, though, with a plan B, so that getting screwed here again doesn't result in the worst case scenario. The alternate method of surviving this room involves crouching behind some boxes on the upper floor. It does involve actually playing the game, unlike the other plan, but this time it's fun because I'm actually winning. The boxes are the perfect height to peek over when you need to shoot and take cover behind when you don't. An impenetrable fortress of wood and paper, and that makes a ton of sense. Strong material like this doesn't just grow on trees after all. Most of the time, you'll want to focus on the left side because that's where most of the troops come from, while occasionally having to fight a soldier on the far right, or I guess all the time. But if you've picked up enough weapon upgrades at this point, you should have the semi-auto rifles by now, and these make the enemies fully auto dead pretty fast, causing the level to conclude when the helicopter arrives to sweep you away on to the next mission. What? Okay, do we really need to count that one? I feel like this one should be a mulligan. Do you want to talk about it? No. 1.5 hours is the time it takes to get back to the penthouse, but once I was able to get over my white boy hop syndrome, I was able to make it back to the submarine. Slipping back into the German-controlled side once again, our objective is to grab a mini nuke and use it against a super mutant, or Frau Engel. Honestly, I usually can't tell the difference, and more specifically, we have to detonate it during a Nazi War Council meeting to cripple the chain of command in America. Right at the beginning of the level, though, there's yet another skip, and I don't mean to brag, but this one I could actually do. As you climb up from the flooded passage, if you aim to the top right of this splotch on the wall, you can phase through it completely thanks to the miracle that is German engineering. Just taking a nice casual swim, don't mind me. Just you know, doing my thing. The problem with this, however, is that if you mess it up, or if the moon is in retrograde, or whatever other stupid reason, this trick can soft lock you from pulling the lever needed, resulting in no other way to complete the mission and an instant trip back to the Marley and me desensitization chamber. Fortunately, this never happened to me. As you all know, this is still my first try. But the question is, why risk this over completing the level normally? Is it a massive time save? Are the enemies in the main chamber that hard to kill? Not really. It saves like 5 minutes and the encounters are really not that bad. But I wanted to keep at least one skip in for the sole purpose of looking a lot more qualified than I actually am to talk about beating Mein Leben. Because if the future levels are anything to go by, it really isn't gonna seem like it. Chatters, I hate to inform you that we've not gotten to any of the hard parts yet. So even though we're like an hour and a half in, we are nowhere close to beating this. Welcome to Roswell, New Mexico, home of the American Nazi Oberkommando, the most delicious strawberry milkshakes that are, and I quote, to die for. And apparently, the place where Scooby-Doo and the rest of the gang send all the ghosts they've captured over the course of their career. Except for some reason, they still seem to all be in costume. As someone who lives close to Roswell, New Mexico, this has been here multiple times. This makes it look better than it is. Jesus. After the situation in the diner is resolved, we have to sneak down through a secret tunnel to reach a secret train station to reach the very secretive Area 52. And anything other than stealth for the time being is a one-way ticket back to the starting cutscene. Flawless execution is the name of the game here, if it wasn't already called Wolfenstein 2. The best strategy is to shoot the initial grunt on the rafters, drop down on the far side, headshot the guy at the bottom of the stairs, ascend the stairs, apply the dog training that you've allegedly gone through 5 times now, power up the train engine, and jump onto the train from this barrier, even though you only have 2 atoms worth of foot room to do it successfully. Luckily for BJ, his 300-pound frame hitting the top of the train car isn't enough to alert the soldiers inside of it. They just assumed there was an 8.0 magnitude earthquake. So you're able to grab the shotgun from the first car and sneak about the cabins as you please. An important thing to note though while moving towards the front is that you don't want to disturb any of the enemies. We're not trying to join the Mile Below Club and get screwed in here. So ideally, you'll want to shadow the enemies on their routes if they block your path, climb to the roof whenever you can to avoid watchful eyes, and make sure you don't have the memory of a goldfish with dementia, and keep in mind that these train cars are not directly connected to each other. Yeah, that tracks. Train tracks, to be specific. Good thing I'm still on my first try. Cutscene, 2 hours, blah, 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 blah. You get the picture. But by making it back to the train and dishing out appropriately fatal punishment to the people who didn't have their train ticket, we reach Area 52 to enter the final part of Mission 6. The plan at the station itself is pretty simple. What you want to do is cut this super soldier's gas nozzle to reduce the global use of fossil fuels, and then hide in a room in the back as you turn everyone in the area carbon neutral, because it's pretty hard to produce a footprint when you're dead. Now, the normal way to get to the upper floor is via this elevator. However, even if you've done everything in stealth so far, robots will begin to spawn all over the platform, and you will get no speed benefits even though you're now technically an HOV vehicle. Up we go. Holy shit, he's gotten through an entire part with stealth. Who is this guy? Uh-oh. That's okay, that's a problem. I didn't realize he was coming with me. I didn't pack for 2 people. So to avoid that, you're going to have to take a nice scenic jog on the elevator rail, which is only accessible through a somewhat tricky angled jump. Okay, if we mess this up, it'll be kind of funny though. Darn. No comedy allowed, apparently. After patting myself on the back for not dying to fall damage again, like the parent of a first grader who showed them what they drew at school today, all that's left now is to plant the nuke. Once you make it to the top of the elevator, you can sprint past all the enemies until you get to the central chamber. Proceeding clockwise around the area, my biggest fear was missing shots, as if a bullet missed the squishy silence of a German head and instead hit the metal behind them, the enemies will investigate, the robots will wake up, my family will be held for ransom, and the entire planet will explode. I'm only slightly exaggerating. I did manage to do this successfully though, but once the nuke is planted, an alarm rings and all bets are off. The priority has to be shooting the mech though. Its BJ-seeking missiles will instantly kill you if it's not taken down fast enough. But between the bay doors opening and the mech stepping in, there's a short window to turn the tables and instantly kill it with 2 laser shots. Oh, did I get him first try? Oh, hogging and my champ. Ooh, okay, well, I'm not doing that. That's scary. Almost fucking fell off the map. That could have been really awkward. Gentlemen, I know you're still there. I did not kill you. Oh, that's a headshot? Let's go, baby. Yeah, let's see how that's going. Yep, there are fucking 10 trillion people back here. Who would've guessed? Oh, there is still a dude over there. You just watched your entire squad get killed, bro. What are you doing? I think that should be everyone. Okay, I was so fucking wrong. Well, now, sorry for ever interpreting it that way. There we go. just a little extra for him, you know? Goodbye, sir. It was a pleasure knowing you. Everyone wave goodbye to the super soldat, please. He was doing a really good job paying attention to the area. I'll take a sip of the strawberry milkshake in your honor. Delicious. All right, good Oberkommando, methinks. Pay out my believers, please. Thank you, thank you. With the Oberkommando central base destroyed, we decide to make a quick stop in Texas to pay a visit to our lovely father. It seems kind of silly since he instilled lifelong trauma into us, sold out our mom to the Nazis, and traps us in hell for 10 minutes every time we start the game, but I thought that maybe I could finally reach him and start a dialogue in some way by connecting with him on really manly American things, like the World Rally Championship, or NASCAR, or even F1. Unfortunately, however, I completely forgot how much BJ's father hated different races. So after this scene, we find out that he had already reported us to German commands and that we weren't getting the house in the inheritance. This is a problem. I don't think my house is supposed to do that. Despite our valiant effort to take down all the enemies at the bottom of this staircase, we end up getting captured and brought to the infamous courthouse, a level that strikes fear into any Mein Leben player's hearts. And I'm here to tell you that this level is so goddamn easy. So when we sit for 10 minutes under a desk, no. 15 minutes. I assume the reason I never had trouble with this is because there's so much information on it now, but to give some context, after an interrogation from Frau Engel that will definitely result in a few civil lawsuits. Great, okay, everyone say, Frau Engel has a present for us. You're taken on trial where you're somehow able to break out of your restraints and then have to survive against all the enemies attempting to pass down the death sentence. Now, normally, this level is one of the hardest in the game. There are just too many enemies and not enough safe places to shoot them in. However, if you hide under this desk on the left, all the enemies in the room lose any semblance of object permanence. They'll wander around the room looking for you, decide to never sneak up on you, and eventually line up in your crosshair to get blasted by the super shotgun a judge had under his desk for some reason. It's literally so simple, and I even learned while doing practice that it can legitimately be done successfully sitting underneath your own desk. Do you think it would be better if I like immersed myself a little bit? Oh, let me see. Okay, now that I'm down here, I think I kind of see the vision. Never mind, I can't really see anything, to be honest. I was just kind of guessing. Hello? Maybe that'll work. Fire these. Okay, yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead! I'm so alive, holy shit. This was the best idea! It takes about 10 to 15 minutes or so before more soldiers spawn, which is your cue to sprint upstairs to grab some ammo, where you'll spend the rest of the level hiding and shooting things as you wrap up one of the nicest missions the game has to offer. can't see him. Where is he? I mean, maybe we just like go in, big retreat if things don't go too hot. Oh, dude was a little stuck. Who's step broing it up, apparently. Or is he actually coming up now? Or okay, thank you. Let's go! First try courthouse. You like to see it. Oh, and now we actually get executed. Pug. Cool dream sequence. Hooray! So this entire section of the game was actually a dream BJ was having while asleep at his actual trial. And if you're wondering if dying during a dream sequence can cause you to fail your permadeath run, yes. Yes, it can. But on the bright side, you do get your own version of this game-breaking logic too, because at your execution, having your head cut off does not. Boy, I did not see that coming. BJ's companions are able to steal and reattach his head on an experimental German bodysuit, which is great for us keeping the Mein Leben run alive, but less great for his pregnant wife and some other paternal-related scenarios. He has no nipples, uh-oh. How's he gonna feed the baby? Oh, fuck, we didn't think about this. But being in this body also allows us to choose from 3 new battle upgrades. And without a doubt, the best choice here is the Battle Walker. These oversized clown stilts not only allow you to skip a few sections of the game thanks to the extra height they grant you, but also make it so that you can acquire an upgrade where your bonus health doesn't decay if it goes past 100. That is an absolutely enormous advantage to have going into the later levels. Basically adding an additional 50% to your health pool for barely any extra work, and making it so that you'll always have time to react if something goes horribly wrong. Unless you're dealing with this guy. Huh? Was I not silent? A fatal DoorDash delivery incident wasn't going to stop me from keeping up this whole first try thing. So an imaginary 3 hours later, and I'm finally able to talk about Manhattan 2. Currently, the entire world is under the impression that BJ is dead, because considering he's supposed to no longer have a head, they're way more concerned about HJs now. Our beloved Fuhrer has announced that the day of Terror Billy's execution will be a national holiday called Justice Day. Hell yeah, I got a day off work. I should get killed every day. This presents the resistance with the opportunity to perform covert surprise operations with BJ, and this mission basically embodies that. It becomes almost necessary to get through it purely in stealth. It makes the doorman unaware of you, gets the robo-dog off your tail and back to chasing its own, and avoids incredibly sketchy scenarios throughout the rest of the level. Oh my god, there's a robot here too. I forgot all about that robot. Well, that could have been bad. I would have only had 25 health if I didn't have the 200 health bonus stuff, and I probably would have panicked and missed. It's really easy to mess all of this up though. At this point during the latter half of the game, the pressure does start to build up, and the stress makes things that felt easy in the first hour of the run feel so much harder now. This guy who I can, oh fuck, shit. This guy who I'll kill really easily with no issues whatsoever. But for the most part, I was able to do it exactly the way I planned, resulting in me making quick work of the robot-filled elevator ride and embarking on an all-expenses-paid trip to New Orleans. I guess I could just wait for these 2 guys to do whatever the fuck they're doing. Or are they just chilling? What? Are you fucking kidding me? Don't like you listening. I know, what the hell's up with that? I just wanted to feel included, and all of a sudden I got shot. It's almost like these Nazis are bad guys.
Blazkowicz, I need you to make it to the other side.
An alligator attack was only the start of what I would call the most unclutch level of my life. On the way to recruiting more resistance members deeper into the city, you can quickly scale the first bunker using the clown stilts before raining hell from above and landing a 5.9 Russian judge graded dive as you make your way behind the staircase. I would say that before this level, I was nervous and didn't quite realize it, but now I was very aware. And I know awareness is supposed to be the first step in a lot of mental breakthroughs, but I swear that this realization made me play significantly worse. Had 4 deaths in this section, good luck, thank you. Controller is positioned really awkwardly in my hand though. Specifically, I'm assuming because I'm nervous, so. Oh, right, I need to spawn them in, Lamau. All right, good start. Great start. While under the stairs, I killed a guy right in the doorway so that I couldn't see any of the other enemies, upping the good old cortisol levels to scientifically unheard of highs. But even that wasn't as bad as the warehouse, because even though I had practiced for a week at this point, I had only just realized that this part had been struck from the curriculum. Oh god, wait, we only practiced the fuck it we ball method with this. I forgot. This was a lot less scary when I was practicing. The method I'm describing here is, of course, the riskier of the two ways you can do this. It requires you to break into the building, but rather than hold out downstairs and wait there to clear the enemies, you instead run through like a madman, dual shotguns in hands. That is, until you reach yet another incredibly small barrier jump in a battle against gravity. A rival that, throughout this experience, I have had a losing record against.
I need to power up this overhead crane.
The bucket reball did not work. I repeat, the bucket reball has aborted. I got shot and my momentum got slowed, and then my jump didn't work. That's so sad.
Gotta get across to the other side.
Okay, not dead. Thankfully. I mean, getting rid of the two commanders makes it so that plan B at least doesn't involve like 10 trillion enemies, so it's not the worst thing ever, it seems. Even though we never practiced that, so I would have no idea of knowing that before this. Oh, dude, wait, I can pick up the Enigma codes too. Oh, this is huge. The things you can do when you're not rushing through like a complete jackass. There we go. Still can't believe I almost missed that. I mean, I did miss that. Sorry, almost missed that. Oh my god, I need to get my eyes checked, dude. I will say that failing that jump, although predictable, did teach me some important life lessons. 1, never take risks ever. 2, this was a sign that the world was beginning to feed into my stupid confidence bullshit and obviously wanted me to beat mine Leben on my very real first try. And 3, don't start 5-hour permadeath runs when it's 100 degrees in your states and your air conditioner is currently undergoing maintenance. Oh god. Hold on, I need to wipe my face again first. Maybe this was just me starting to take the whole sweaty gamer thing a bit more seriously outside of game though, since after that, my gameplay seemed to get a lot cleaner. By exterminating the rest of the warehouse and luring some unsuspecting super soldiers down to my kill basement with the promise of protein ice cream and anabolic steroids, we're able to meet the New Orleans resistance leader who sends us into the night with our very own flame puppy. The unfortunate thing is that we can't use him yet. Stomping straight into enemy lines despite having the most lethal dog breath ever created leads to completely predictable consequences. So instead, it's better to hide behind this car and do it the boring way, so that later you can play fetch with the dog itself and use it in way better circumstances. Then all that's left is to be stealthy again, something I was really good at. Until this moment. Nope. Oh my god, dude. I was not expecting that. It feels like I kind of got tackled in real life, I'm not gonna lie. To be fair, it was dark out, they shined a light at me, and I have astigmatism, which doesn't actually affect me when playing video games, but that's not important right now. What was important, however, was that I was able to get back here after that obvious practice attempt and complete the mission without making a peep. Which leads us to the second to last mission in the game, Venus. This is the actual planet, by the way, and the reason you're here is to access the security codes of Frau Engel's ship while also pretending to be an aspiring actor attempting to get a role in a movie written by the Führer himself.
Ein verräterischer Jude! No, mein Führer. I'm from Arizona.
Honestly, completely reasonable response. I wouldn't want to touch or be 10 feet anywhere near someone from Phoenix. You wouldn't be crazy to think I had just landed on Jupiter though, because boy, was I getting stupider by the second. The initial section is basically all cutscenes, but these are ones that you can actually die in. The first thing you have to do is shut up, which I was already really good at because I was incredibly nervous. But then you have to memorize and recite the lines of the Führer's script. I was pretty confident that I'd get one of these wrong since I didn't write any of them down and decided to instead method act as a real actor to get in the zone, you know? But despite this being the dumbest idea I think I've ever had, it did work. So by default, it wasn't actually that stupid. The final thing you have to do though is walk into a QuickTime event as the Supreme Leader lies vulnerably on the floor. Now, I did try to find out if I could kill him and get away with it for like 30 minutes back when I was practicing, but no matter what I did, I would die without fail or be softlocked from progressing. So with that being the case, all I had to do in order to keep going on this 4-hour current mine Leben run is to not kick Hitler. Oh no. Okay, I know you guys are all mad at me, but he was like right there. What? Am I not supposed to stand on my principles? I think with a time machine and a gun, you would all be cowards. I understand this was a very costly decision from a time perspective, and those were 4 hours I was not going to get back, but I think we can all admit it was kind of funny. But you know what would be even funnier? If I did it again. Listen, it's the last thing he would expect. But now that I had that out of my system, we can just pretend those attempts don't exist and do my first attempt of the level for real. Venus is probably the hardest overall mission in the game. It doesn't have the peak hardest parts, that's actually in the next one, but it requires you to apply everything you've learned so far in regards to how to play the game, but to their utmost extreme. If you break stealth when you're not supposed to break stealth, you will die. If your positioning is bad when fighting soldiers, expect to see BJ's dead immediately. And even if you play everything well, there's a realistic chance that regardless of what happens, it will not matter. Oh, hello there. Shit. Hold on 1 second, sir. Shit. Got his ass. First try. So to begin, you'll want to kill everyone in the first chamber before going into the various different hallways. There is a strat some people use to stealth through this section entirely, but I could never get it to work properly. Maybe because I was live streaming, the guards took notice of everyone in chat and locked in. Because as we all know, anyone who watches these videos is distractingly attractive by default. So instead, I used their attention to my advantage by retreating back into the doorway to the first chamber and blasted anyone who came into the choke point, allowing me to clear out the majority of the enemies and blitz through to the elevator. Oh, I almost blew up the explosive. That could have been bad. The stakes were going to be even higher in the next area. Once you get the Mr. Freeze suit that you have to constantly fill up as to not burn to death on the planet's surface. Is it unleaded cryo or leaded cryo, you think? I don't know. I want to truly believe that they wouldn't keep lead in their gas after the discovery. I mean, they are scientific after all, just not scientific, unfortunately. The first thing you'll need to do this time is sneak by a giant robot perfectly, since if it catches you with your pants down, firstly, wire your pants off, and secondly, they won't be the only thing missing thanks to the missiles. Hate that part. Hate that part. Oh, okay, breather, and we're back. After that, it's best to stealth kill the rest of the room and the robots directly outside before spawning in the rest of the tin buckets that are guaranteed to spot you. A good place to hold out for this is the airlock you entered from, but it's following that where you have to be incredibly careful. Now you're on the platforms where enemies are all over, hidden at different elevations, and all the while BJ's suit is losing its cryo every second. 4.5 hours in, it was starting to get tense. And in this run, this is when I make a kinda catastrophic mistake. Oh, okay, well, fuck. Don't actually know what happens now. Getting spotted here is not good. With the commander out of sight, I had no idea where the new enemies were located in this jungle of pipes and how many there actually were. I took out as many as I could see, but in the back of my mind, I had convinced myself that there was no way it could be all of them, and all the evidence was proving me right. Where is bro? There is bro. Eat my ball sack. Oh, what? There's a guy? Where? Oh, who the fuck? Who let you in? I felt like I only had one choice. I couldn't wander around here for much longer, otherwise there was a chance I could get shot by a straggler and die without any chance to shoot back. So in my state of panic, I chose to try and speed through a trick that directly gets you to the end of the area. Surely nothing could go wrong with that. The general idea is that there's a collection of pipes BJ can mantle in order to reach the next location. The issue though is that the position of the mantles is very specific, and I, in my limited practice, had forgotten where a few of them were. But with the abnormally large pickle I had put myself in, I had to make it work. Please don't fall. Uh-oh. Let's get some help. Let's get some help. All right, so theoretically, I could survive another fall though, right? Like, we've now tested that. Escaping certain death here was not something I expected. I'm pretty sure the only reason BJ didn't stand for body juice after his experience hitting the floor is because I was able to mantle a railing and slow my momentum a bit. Otherwise, I would have become a BJ pancake. And I'll be honest, a BJ pancake does not sound very enticing. So rather than tempt fate again and ruin my very real first attempt, I slowly cleared as much of the area as I could and did the skip slowly this time, which my now far less anxious but still very sweaty brain knew was a better idea. There's still a few more sections after this, one where you get the Wolfenstein BFG and also the conveyor belt section.
Oh, we're here now? I don't want to be here.
BJ is pretty ride or literally die when it comes to being a back sleeper instead of a stomach sleeper evidently, so he cannot turn around at all, meaning that if you miss a single enemy while riding through here, it's very possible that the missed soldier will beam you and cause you to die.
Thank God.
Thankfully, my aim was good here, and even though my room was starting to reach the temperatures of Venus, I was able to full stealth through the dormitory thanks to the silenced pistols hitting heads at exactly the right time. All that remains now was the final room, but unlike the rest of the level, here you want to go fast, since if you sprint to the middle and shotgun the globe, you can dip into a vent, and the mission is over.
Slow. I'm stuck? I'm okay. I was stuck for a second though. My heart skipped a little bit of a beat, but not a lot of a beat, so that's okay. Okay. Out of Venus. I'm so fucking sweaty.
After 5 hours of gameplay, we reach the final mission, which starts with a birthday party. Yeah!
Oh.
No, don't drunk drive the chopper. But then it's down to business. The final level takes you back to Frau Engel's airship so that you can wrestle it from her control. And knowing that tensions would be running high when I got to this point, this is the level I had practiced the most. I knew the ins and outs of everything it was going to throw at me. So without further ado, this is how I played it.
Anya, attack. Go get him, please.
Immediately after entering the ship, I made a break to the back right of the loading bay to take out all the enemies, until Anya starts her dialogue, which signals that the coast is clear. It's then that you lean around some corners to clear out the next couple of rooms and end up making it outside to the walkway again. The enemy forces out here are incredibly dangerous, so you want to be on the lookout for a small window to proceed, which should be easy to spot because this ship only has large windows. Towel break. This gives you the perfect opportunity to take out all the humans one by one before making it to the small opening on the other side.
Gentlemen, if you could please create another single file line to come in here so I can murder you, that would be great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So with the enemies dead and with that done, we move on to what I like to call the big three.
Oh, awkward. My bad. Meant to kill you immediately. That's on me, dog.
These 3 sections are, in my opinion, some of the hardest parts in the entirety of Wolfenstein 2, and all happen to occur at the end of your 5.5-hour permadeath run, so that's super fun. Section 1 is the Robot Deployment Center. After going clockwise through the room and silencing all the guards, BJ will break into the starboard control room and disable the ship's defenses. Cyborgs and soldiers come flooding in, and you'd think that an airship is the last place you'd have to worry about a flood. Fortunately, despite the enemies sailing in waves, if your name is BJ, you're probably used to dealing with a lot of seamen, so you can sink their ship by peeking the initial wave and running to the ladder before the next one even spawns.
I'll take it.
Section 2 leaves even less room for error. You can take down 2 super soldiers from this walkway before some commanders spawn in and force you to go stealthy. The goal will be to reach them before the alarm goes off, because if it does, a mech spawns in and commits multiple HR and Geneva violations. Even though this happening isn't the end of the world, it still causes one of the most terrifying experiences you can have in the game, because the only way you can kill the mech is through a vent, and you can't move very fast in a vent.
Uh-oh. That, I didn't like that. The thornberries. I don't know if I got him.
Good to hear you getting close, William.
I got him. Hell yeah. Forgot that's not how you switch your weapon? Everything's fine.
After a very eventful experience here, the rest of Section 2 was slightly less puckering. It comes down to alerting the enemies, sprinting back down the ladder, and using the super soldier laser to shine some light on the atrocities of this workplace, that being the employees mainly. But as I was doing all this, it became apparent that despite all the practice I'd done on this level, I was starting to lose my cool in both senses of the term.
Holy Papega aiming. What the fuck? Where the hell did you even possibly come from? Jesus. What the fuck is happening? Oh my God.
I was one part away from the finish line, and it was starting to get to me. I didn't mention this before, but the final section was the part of Mein Leben I was dreading the most. Because even though this is the fight I'd practiced more than any other encounter in the game, I was only able to do it successfully 50% of the time.
All comes down to this, coin toss. Poetic, really.
So with that on my mind, as well as the heat stroke, saying I was soul-shakingly nervous would be underselling it completely. The final encounter has you fight 2 super mechs that can kill you instantly if you're caught out in the open, while also fighting against 10 minutes worth of German soldiers as reinforcements. I had the strategy though. If I hid behind the silo covers to take down the super soldiers, took the bottom right supply corner to take down the regular troops, and blew up the mechs with a perfectly accurate laser charge, I had this in the bag. But in the moment of truth, despite my heart knowing that the plan would work flawlessly if I just believed in my ability to do it, I panicked.
Okay. Oh, this is not great. Hello there, sir. How's it hanging? Kind of busy right now. No. Yeah, I messed up earlier. Classic Snamwiches death. Always gotta have one at the end.
So that's how the 5.5-hour run ended. The pressure became too much, and in my fear of dying, I created a self-fulfilling prophecy. I put in all that effort to study the game, to practice the parts I struggled at, only to lose confidence in myself at the very end. So I was gonna have to start facing reality, that I wasn't automatically good if I just practice, that this achievement could be too much for someone to manage no matter how much work was put in, that this might finally be my second try. But even though that's how things concluded, there was also a second option. Instead, I could just be more confident. If a lack of confidence is a thing holding me back, I was going to start being disgustingly confident. My strategies were flawless. My gameplay incredible, no matter what it looked like. This attempt was my first try. And if I could just delude myself into believing all this, I could get back here and do it better.
I am so silent right now. This is probably gonna be the most boring part of the video. So dudes coming in. This may be scarier than the line outside of Bonnie Blue's shoot, dude. Hey, can't be a Snamwiches stream without a Bonnie Blue joke, am I right? All right, well, it's time. This might be the thing. Do not choke Engel, please. If she double headshots me, even though I have 100, I am dead. Hello. It is the melee button, right? just to quickly go over this with all of you. I do press the melee button, not the shoot button. Okay, thank you. Oh my God, she even missed Lamau. Couldn't be me. Let's go. And in, I would like to quote this. One try. What'd I miss? Nothing much. Honestly, just kind of the normal stream, I'd say.
Having confidence in myself had paid off in full. Mein Leben was done, one of the hardest achievements in history was mine, and now I can finally drop this stupid first try bit. I think it's been going on long enough, because if we look at the live chat, it's pretty obvious that... Guys? Hello? The run's over. We don't have to keep this up if we don't want to. Fellas, why are we... Wait. No. This can't be happening. There were deaths. There were deaths in the video. What? Good take. Good take. Good take. Where's the chat? Why is he wearing different clothes? Every death he's wearing different clothes. That was sudden. That was not fun. I think we got like a take in there maybe. No. Do you know what you've done? His ego is already through the roof. Do you know what this will do to him? I'm about to be fucking insufferable, dude. I'm about to be the most annoying person you've ever met. Oh my god, dude. I think I over-practiced. I over-practiced as in I went through the entire campaign like twice. So with all the smoke and mirrors out of the way, I wasn't lying throughout the video. This was actually my first try. Kinda. The first death 2 minutes into the game was real because I had just spent the previous hour on stream doing tech support and was tilted out of my mind. But the very next run was the winner, with 600 live witnesses and a fully recorded VOD for proof. So second try, first try, 1.5th try, I don't care. The point is, this was done in basically one playthrough. And I hate to say it, but this might be the easiest thing I've done on the channel so far. So from this video, I hope we took away at least a couple of things. 1, even if you think you fucking suck, you probably don't. If you put in the effort to become better at something, you will probably see drastically different results. 2, I am obviously the greatest gamer of all time. And 3, practice is ridiculously OP. So from now on, practicing before a challenge is banned, and I will continue to do every difficult game through only the power of joy and whimsy. Please pray for my safety. So if you want to see something more along the lines of that, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out another video that by default is way harder than this. I also stream everything I do live, so if you want to go over to Twitch and follow me there too, I'd appreciate it. But with that and all my gloating out of the way, like always, I'll see you all in the next one.